my beautiful little unicorns, and welcome back to my channel. If this is indeed the first time that you're on my channel, my name is Vanessa and I, and I would like to welcome you into the fam. So if you're a human being and you're watching this video, then you most likely have some sort of relationships in your life. This could include romantic relationships, as well as your platonic relationships that you have with your friends and your family. And let's be real, with relationships comes tea, gossip, and drama. And that's exactly what this video is about. But if you're anything like me and you're all about avoiding the drama and just getting more positivity within your life and your relationships, then this is the perfect pick a card reading for you. Because in today's tarot reading, we are going to be discussing that relationship in your life that you're not quite sure what to do with. And this timeless pick a card reading is designed to be all-inclusive. So whether this is a relationship that you have that's with a woman, that's romantic or platonic, or with a man, or just with somebody who identifies as a unicorn or someone else, it doesn't matter. Everyone is invited to this party. And in order to help you figure out what is coming next for the relationship of your concern and exactly how to tackle the situation and what to expect out of this relationship moving forward, I have prepared 4 groups that you can choose from, and I would like you to pick one of these 4 groups intuitively. So each group is represented by a crystal and a feather, so just pick whichever group that you feel the most drawn towards. And don't worry, I will be revealing what bird that each feather corresponds to at the beginning of each reading. So the 4 groups that I have prepared for you today are as follows. Group number 1 corresponds to the Cognac Calcite. Group number 2 corresponds to the Tiger Eye. Group number 3 corresponds to the Carnelian. And group number 4 corresponds to the Shadow Angel Aura Crystal. And of course, the timestamps to all 4 groups can be found down below in the description box, as well as pinned to the comment section. So all you need to do is click your timestamp and you will be fast forwarded to your reading. So before I get into it, I would just like to ask you to subscribe to my channel if you enjoy this type of content, and of course hit that notification bell. That way you will never miss another reading that is relevant to your life or could help you out in some way, shape, or form. So now that that's all done, let's get into the readings. I will be starting off with the first group, which corresponds to the Cognac Calcite, and to all of my other lovely groups, I will catch you at the click of your timestamp. Hello, group number 1, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the Cognac Calcite group number 1, which is such a beautiful crystal. Here's a quick close-up for you. So let's figure out exactly what bird that the crystal of your choice corresponds to. The duck. So group number 1, in the duck, one thing that I can see here is that your relationship can find more comfort as well as balance in really simple ways, and you have more support around you than you probably expected, group number 1. So sometimes you may feel like you're alone, or like there's not really that many people who are supporting you or who have your back, but I do want you to know that the duck is a symbol for there being more simple acts of love as well as support around you than you expected or than you've registered. Because when you're focused on a relationship that is in a way disturbing your peace or making you feel uneasy, it can be really hard to see all of the goodness that is around you and all the people who are supporting you. And one thing that I do want you to know here in the duck is that this relationship that you're thinking of while you're watching this reading can be in a way helped out through very simple acts of kindness and service. So this of course has to be mutual, but let's get into that by moving further into your reading, shall we? We have the Rado Cross-eyed. The Rado Cross-eyed speaks beautifully of this whole mutual aspect that I was about to touch upon. The Rado Cross-eyed is a crystal that urges you to remember your self-worth. Remembering your worth is so important in relationships and is a very important piece of advice that the universe wants you to hear, group number 1, because in remembering your worth, you're also remembering the fact that relationships have to come with reciprocity. You can't just give lots of little acts of kindness and acts of service and never receive anything in return. Of course, a relationship isn't about just what you can get, but there has to be some sort of sense of mutual support, right? So I do see here in the Rado Cross-eyed that as a big piece of relationship advice for you, group number 1, is to remember your worth and to insist on relationships that reflect your self-worth. Next up, we have the Carnelian. Now, group number 1, I can see here in the Carnelian that a great way for you to move forward in your relationships is to get creative with how you want to hang out and how you want to spend time with the people who matter the most to you. So get creative by, for example, taking them out on a walk if that's something that you don't usually do, or for example, just engaging in a hobby or some sort of pastime that you usually would do by yourself or maybe wouldn't consider at all. So that is where I see in the Carnelian that relationships can really strengthen their internal bonds. Like, for example, for me, I'm looking into going sailing, which is something that I've never done before, something that I've never considered, but I'm doing that with family members who are very near and dear to my heart, and that is a creative way that I'm choosing to strengthen the bonds and just really make memories that are unforgettable. Next up, we have the tortoise. So in the tortoise, I can see here that things are slowly but surely moving into the right direction. So I do want you to know here in the tortoise that while progress in your relationships may be slow, progress is something that is the most important. It's not about how quickly you get there. It's just about making sure that you're continuously taking positive and helpful steps forward. And that's exactly what the tortoise reflects. Next up, we have a barking dog. Now, group number 1, in the barking dog, this is a sign, a symbol really, that shows that you're getting advice from a friend. And this may be unsolicited advice. This may be advice that you never asked for, but a friend feels like it's necessary for you to receive this piece of information. Now, group number 1, it's easy to just kind of convince yourself that you didn't ask for it, so therefore it can't be important. But listen this time when your friend is trying to give you relationship advice, and ask yourself if this is advice that you can maybe take into consideration. And that doesn't mean that you have to blindly follow the advice, but sometimes when a friend gives you feedback, that tells you a lot about the friend. So not necessarily about the topic that they're trying to give you feedback on, but it lets you know where you stand with that person, especially if you are in a relationship with somebody who you feel like might be talking badly about you behind your back, or just saying things that you're not 100% sure of. When you hear what other people around you are feeding back to you, that can often be really vital information. Next up, we have the empty chair. So I do see here in the empty chair that there is an important relationship, an important person who is currently in your life that is going to leave your life, group number 1. That is one thing that I see in the empty chair. So this reading is really kind of preparing you for that and foreshadowing, foretelling this. Now, in correspondence to the rest of your reading, and especially in conjunction to the Rado Cross-eyed, keep in mind that sometimes when you set boundaries or you expect people to treat you with respect, that can actually drive some people away. And that drives the right people away, because you don't want people in your life who don't want to be respectful of you. Group number 1, keep that in mind. Next up, we have the key. So I do see here a successful outcome to your problems or any relationship issues that you may be facing, group number 1. And in conjunction to the empty chair, I see that really the best thing for a relationship in your life that is toxic or maybe not the way that it ideally should be, the best way for that relationship to play out, is what I'm trying to get to, is for them to leave, right? For that chair to be empty, for them to move into a different space or phase in their life that does not involve you, group number one. And it's sad, but sometimes that's really the only way to lead a happy, healthy life. Sometimes two people just can no longer be involved with one another, and it's best for them to leave that chair empty rather than to take up a seat that somebody else would appreciate far more. Next up, we have take a walk. Now, group number one, in getting creative, do make sure that you consider just going out and taking a walk in a different area or a different place. It's a really free and easy way to get out with loved ones and safely do so in this day and age without kind of coming in contact with too many people who you don't know, and just having a little moment of peace and serenity. Next up, we have create art. So definitely consider creating actual art with a loved one. Definitely also consider using art as an outlet if you're struggling with a relationship in your life that is just kind of making you feel unsure or insecure. Creating art can center you, and you don't have to be an artist or amazing at painting or drawing to enjoy art. It's something that you can use as a form of therapy, whether you love your paintings or not. It's not about what you create, it's about the process. It's about how you feel during the process of creating and painting. It's not about judging what the final outcome, result, or picture is. Next up, we have the 9 of diamonds. Now, group number one, in the 9 of diamonds, I do see here that your work commitments need you. It is essential that you focus on your work. It is essential that you focus on your professional life and your career. If you are currently still in school, group number one, or you're just kind of like studying on the side to get an extra degree or extra diploma, do know here in the 9 of diamonds that it is essential that you focus on that right now, that you study up, and that you make sure that you're not sacrificing your career just because you're really focused on a relationship that is problematic or maybe requiring a little bit more attention from you than you are able to give right now. I see here in judgment, group number one, that at the end of the day, you're not crazy, and that's something that you needed to hear, especially if you've been gaslit by people in your life before. Now, what is gaslighting, group number one? You may ask yourself that. Gaslighting is when somebody makes you question your own personal reality, your own experiences. This could be, for example, a partner. If you catch them like texting somebody and you say, hey, what is this? And they're gaslighting you into believing that that's just a friend, even though like what friend would send them nudes or would say like, oh, I can't wait to see you again. You know the picture, the scenario, group number one. Or it could be, for example, a family member who did something to you that wasn't exactly very kind, and you try to talk about the experience and you try to find some sort of resolution for yourself, and then they end up just saying, oh, that didn't happen, or that's not what I meant, or that's not how it was meant to be. Or worst case scenario, they even say that you deserved it, and you're being gaslit into believing that you're this person who deserves to be treated badly. So these are different scenarios of what gaslighting may look like. There are, of course, so many more. I just wanted to explain to you here in judgment that when you've been gaslit over and over again, and this happens with friends, family, or in romantic relationships, you can start to question your judgment and your reality. You may even start to question your own personal sanity. You may ask yourself, like, am I just crazy? Am I just really that sensitive? Because gaslighting often plays on telling you that you're overly sensitive, or you're just making things up, or you're creating something big out of something that could just be really little. But I do want you to know here in judgment, there's a reason why you tuned into this reading, group number one. There's a reason why you're here to hear that your judgment is sound. You're not crazy, and that your earthly experience, your temporal experience, is so valid and is so real and is so deserving of attention, as well as you being able to tell your story and be heard. And if there are relationships in your life life that are not providing that for you, do know here in the empty chair that it may be time to let those people and those relationships just pack up and leave, and allow that seat to maybe be empty for a while you're healing, so that somebody can take that position in your life, group number one, and fulfill it in the most amazing way, allowing you to feel more love as well as just more appreciation that you truly deserve. So group number one, this is the reading that I received for you. I truly hope that you enjoyed it and that you found it insightful. Leave a little duck emoji down below to let me and others know that this is the group that you ended up choosing. And for all of you who have asked, all the jewelry that I'm wearing is from my crystal store. It is also linked down below in the description box. So feel free to check that out if you're interested in all things crystals as well as tarot cards. Now, group number one, this is the reading that I received for you, and I truly hope that it hit home. I hope that you enjoyed this heart-to-heart moment. Thank you so much for spending this time with me, and I'll see you in another one of my videos. Hello, group number two, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the Tiger Eye Crystal, group number two. So this is what it looks like. It's absolutely stunning, and also this feather, which belongs to the turkey. Now, group number two, aside from the fact that you chose a crystal that really brings out your instinctual side as well as an adventurous side of you, I do see here in the turkey that it's all about you honoring your time in your relationships, group number two. So a big piece of advice is to make sure that you're honoring everything that you have to give, and that you're not always just offering it up on a silver platter to people who don't appreciate it, or maybe even downright reject everything that you have to offer. That's just one thing that I see here in the turkey spirit animal that you truly need to hear, group number one. Next up, we have the hummingbird. So I do see here in the hummingbird that it's important for you to release certain relationships that just make you feel really heavy and like you're carrying a big burden along with you. So there may be some relationships in your life that exist purely on guilt, okay, that exist purely on a laundry list of IOUs, where somebody has made you feel bad for your mere existence because they feel as though you owe them something for whatever reason. So I do see here in the hummingbird that it's important for you to remember, group number two, that you must release whoever makes you feel really heavy-hearted, and you have to let go of that emotional strain that they have on you, because it's not fair, and it is in fact emotional abuse to make somebody else feel like that. And just because they aren't physically violating you, that is emotional violence. But the great news, group number two, on a lighter note, is the fact that you can stop it. You can create distance. You can ensure that you're not allowing somebody to affect you emotionally in a negative way. You can protect yourself. And that is one thing that I see here in the hummingbird that you need to learn to do. Just because you may feel small in the presence of another person doesn't mean that you can't protect yourself, or that you have to allow them to kind of walk all over you, if you will. Next up, we have the azurite. Now, group number two, in the azurite, I can see here as a piece of relationship advice that you have to get laser focused on your needs for once. This is especially true, all of my group twos, if you're a giver and you're just endlessly giving, and you have people around you who take and don't know when to stop. They don't see when you're tired, they don't see when you're depleted, they only see what they still need from you. Next up, we have the moonstone. So that's why the moonstone showed up, in order to communicate that that's not your purpose, group number two. Your purpose is not to be someone who's always there to save the day and receives no recognition, or someone who's always there to make sure that another person's seat is warm, and as soon as that person has showed up, you don't matter. You know, it's just so essential for you here in the moonstone to live your purpose independently of what someone else may want from you. And that could be your boss, that could be a spouse, spouse, that could be a family member. There are sadly a lot of people who feel like they have say in your decisions in life, and distancing yourself from that is so crucial to your health. Group number 2, to your mental health, and you're being called to focus on that in correspondence to your relationships. Next, we have the firecracker. So on a way lighter note, group number 2, the firecracker is a really fun card, and it shows that there is some form of excitement coming towards us within the reading and towards you in real life. Let's figure out what that is. We have the dog. So I can see here in the dog a very powerful friend who is protecting you and who may come into your life at a very unexpected moment. So someone who has your back regardless, who you love to spend time with, and who you know just gets you. Oh, okay, we have another dog, but this time the dog and a close-up of the dog. I can see here that you're going to have fun with this best friend, with this close friend. Now, this doesn't have to be just a platonic relationship. The best relationships or marriages are built upon really strong friendships. So people who can call themselves best friends. And I do want you to know here in 2 dogs showing up within your reading, group number 2, that this is a great sign for relationships that are going to establish themselves and just be really solid and strong with a lot of longevity. Next up, we have the scissors. So I do see here in these scissors that there might be someone who's a little bit disappointed. So maybe someone who just isn't as happy for you as they truly should be or claim to be, or maybe even a romantic interest, someone who is looking at you in a romantic manner, who is feeling a little jealous at the fact that the dog showed up twice in your reading. And this is a sign that someone is coming into your life who is a best friend, a partner, someone who you can do anything with and have the most amazing time. Next up, we have the frying pan. So I do see here in the frying pan that this jealousy may actually turn into some sort of accusations. It may turn into a little bit of trouble, okay, where that person is trying to make you feel bad for leaving them. So I definitely see jealousy and people fighting about you, fighting over you, group number 2. So don't be surprised if you end up in some form of love triangle. I can see here in the smoky quartz that you're being called to let it go, and in the agate I can see here that that will allow you to get back into balance. So the smoky quartz showed up first. The smoky quartz is the stone that stands for you getting rid of negativity, getting rid of any unneeded or unwanted tension and energy, and the agate is all about getting back into balance, getting back into a place where you feel like you can breathe freely and there's no longer this heavy weight that's just on your shoulders. Next up, we have flow like water, group number 2. And flow like water, I do see here that connecting in a way that just makes you feel like the relationship flows is something that of course you can't fake, and something you should remind yourself of. If a relationship isn't flowing like water, if it isn't working out now in the beginning stages, if it doesn't work out when you most need it to, it probably does not have a future, and that's one thing that the universe wants to remind you of within your reading. Next up, we have create art. Now, group number 2, in create art, a great way for you to kind of center yourself and calm yourself again is by creating art. So scribbling, actually bringing out some paint and a canvas. It doesn't really matter what you create. It's all about the process, so don't pressure yourself. Group number 2, we're not all great artists. I know I'm not really that great of an artist at all, but I can appreciate doodling or writing and just overall being engaged in something artistic. Just 2 days ago, I just framed all of my photos with like this silver foil. And while it can feel a little bit awkward to say this on camera in front of so many people, like it was so therapeutic. Engaging in a little bit of arts and crafts can just change your entire outlook and change the entire vibe of your day and week. So do not, group number 1, by any means underestimate the power that comes with creating art or just doing something crafty to just help you regain your center and help you see things clearly within your relationships before you make any hasty decisions that are just on a whim and may end up leading to long-term consequences. So instead of reacting, retract, center yourself, and then do things from a very kind of like a clear standpoint. Now, group number 2, this is the reading that I received for you. I really hope that you enjoyed it and found it insightful. Leave a little fiery bang emoji down below in the comment section to let me and others know that this is a group that you ended up choosing and that you enjoyed it. Furthermore, for any of you who are interested in the jewelry that I'm wearing today, it is linked down below in the description box. It's all from my online store called Bow Life. So if you're interested in anything crystal related or tarot related, feel free to check that out. So group number 2, know that I'm sending you so much love. Thank you for sharing this divine space with me today, and I'll see you in another one of my videos. Hello, group number 3, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the Carnelian group number 3, which is honestly one of my favorite crystals ever. This is a close-up of it. It's absolutely gorgeous. And you also chose this beautiful black feather. Let's figure out what bird that this belongs to. We have the crow. Now, group number 3, I do want you to know here in the crow that a piece of relationship advice that is being brought to you by the crow is that truths are being revealed and that the universal laws will always prevail. So use this energy to create your own reality. Now, you may be asking yourself, what exactly does that mean? So truths will be revealed in the sense of finding out how people really feel about you and where the relationship is really headed. I can see a lot of truth bombs that are coming towards you in due time, group number 3, and I do also see here in the universal laws and truths prevailing that laws of attraction, laws of just reciprocity, and so on, those types of laws are being embraced within your relationships. So don't feel as though you are always the one who gives, or you're always the one who puts out positivity and never receives it. Group number 3, you will be rewarded for all of the good that you've done and for the many times that you have believed in the good in other people. And you may have been disappointed, you may have felt like people took advantage of that, but do know that reciprocity is something that doesn't have to come from the person who did you wrong. It can come in the form of a soulmate, a twin flame, an amazing friend that enters your life. Next up, we have the Aventurine. Remind yourself of the fact that you create your own luck. Never become a bad person because of bad people, okay? Group number 3, never act in a way that isn't in alignment with who you are just because of other people who have maybe done so or who have wronged you, okay? Never change being a good person because of other people who you feel are acting in a malicious way. Next up, we have the Appetite. So I can see here in the Appetite group number 3 that your relationships are going to take you out of your comfort zone. And by taking you out of your comfort zone, I do want you to know that your relationships, in a sense, might test you. You may have to put more trust in someone than you ever have before, and you may, in a sense, also have to believe in your own abilities to stay calm while giving someone a trust or allowing somebody to have so much of you, so much of your heart, and trusting them with it. I can see here in the King of Diamonds that there is somebody who can teach you an amazing lesson about that, and this is a earth sign. This is somebody who is, for example, a Capricorn, a Taurus, a Virgo, group number 3. So I do see here in the King of Diamonds that taking advice from any one of those signs when it comes to your relationships, that's a great thing for you to do right now. As I can see in the 6 of Diamonds that more people than you know or than you realize wish that they could be with you. So whether you're in a romantic relationship right now or you're just dealing with platonic relationships that are maybe difficult, I want you to know here in the 6 of Diamonds, group number 3, that you're more sought after than you realize, and that replacing people is something that is easier for you than for many. And I know this sounds like really shallow and almost a little bit harsh, but honestly, sometimes you need to remind yourself of how valuable that you are are. And how many people do in fact exist and are in fact out there who would be so grateful to have someone as loyal and as kind as you within their close friend circle. I can see here in the Ten of Crystals reverse that you kind of just need to stop giving so much in the earthly realms and feeling as though, things are ever going to change. With some people, it doesn't matter whether they would win the lottery, the financial abundance would be here one day and gone the next, and they would already be asking for the next handout or be looking for the next place where they can get something. So that's where I see in the Ten of Crystals that you must break that cycle, and you got to make sure that you're not enabling any of those types of habits and people around you. We have the smoky quartz next, group number 3, and the smoky quartz is a crystal that speaks of letting go, okay? Letting go of anything that's holding you back, letting go of people who are just never going to change or not going to change unless they really sit down with themselves and are honest and put a lot of work and effort into changing. And with never changing, that's what I mean. Everyone is capable of change, but they need to want it. And that's where sometimes you need to quote unquote give up or move on from trying to change somebody or trying to get someone to see the light who just simply doesn't want to do so. I can see here next and spend time with friends that spending time with other people who are like-minded and who really get you, that is the best thing that you can do for yourself, group number 3, and that will kind of take your mind off of worrying so much about people who you've tried to save but just simply weren't ready. Next up, we have aromatherapy. So engage in making scents that remind you of pleasant times in your life. Make those a part of your day-to-day life. So what I really like to do, group number 3, for example, is to wear certain perfumes that remind me of times in my life that I really appreciate, of different eras or seasons in my existence that make me feel pleasant about myself and make me feel good about my day and what I'm about to get up to. So you may have that with perfume. Another great way is to use incense sticks or essential oils that remind you of something pleasant and that can calm you. Aromatherapy is something that can be very powerful depending on how it's used and depending on what you are reminded of or what kind of effect that different scents have on you in given situations. Next up, we have the hammock. So I can see here in the hammock, group number 3, that you are being called to take a vacation, to pack up your bags and to leave for a little bit. You need a change of scenery. You need a little bit of a change of just energy around you. Don't be afraid to pack up with a friend or, for example, a romantic partner. The most important thing is that you just get away from just the general vibration that is surrounding you right now so you can see things from a fresh standpoint when you come back. Last but not least, we have the dog. So in the dog, I do want you to know here, taking a friend along with you on this vacation is the best thing that you can do because they will be there to protect you emotionally, physically. They will be there to help you out if something goes south. So that really does lessen the anxiety that you may have going somewhere alone. Do know here in the dog that this foreshadows a really great companion and friend that is showing up in your life and that is really showing you that you can count on them and that they are always there and proving to you that they are someone who you can count on always. So look forward to that moment when maybe you feel like you're in need and that friend is there for you. Now, group number 3, this is the reading that I received for you, and I really hope that you enjoyed it and that you found it insightful. Let me know down below in the comment section what hit home for you, and also leave a little spaceship emoji down below in the comment section in case you're taking your vacation in outer space or somewhere else that is just magical. Furthermore, for any of you who ask me about my jewelry, it is linked down below in the description box. It's all from my brand, Bow Life. All the crystal jewelry that I wear is from my brand because I know that the quality is great and it's ethically sourced. So feel free to check that out. So group number 3, thank you so much for spending this divine time with me today. Know that I'm thinking of you, and I'll catch you in another one of my videos. Hello, group number 4, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the Shadow Angel Aura Crystal. So you also did choose this beautiful white feather. So let's first do a close-up of your crystal and then discuss who this feather belongs to. So let me show you what your crystal looks like close up. This is she. Absolutely beautiful. I love this kind of like goddess-like energy that I'm getting from your crystal. I really love it. I'll link it down below in the description box in case you would like one of these in real life. So this feather belongs to the White Eagle, group number 4, and the White Eagle shows that you have a connection to the divine, to the universe, to some sort of form of guidance, and it's within you. And this is something that you are being called to make use of, group number 4, especially when you're questioning yourself, you're doubting yourself, or you're not 100% sure what to do in your relationships. Do know that the best advice for you is to follow your intuition and follow your heart. But let's figure out a little more information than just that, right? Group number 4. Next up, we have the Epidote. So in the Epidote, I do see a crystal that is urging you to go deeper, okay? We have a crystal that is asking you to ask more questions, that is making you kind of not just skim the surface, but actually go deep, put on that wetsuit and figure out what's down below, down in the depths of the ocean of your emotion. So next up, we have the Lemurian Quartz. Be patient with yourself. Getting to know yourself on a very kind of like personal level, doing shadow work, it can be daunting, it can be scary. And many times when you're, for example, journaling, or you're asking yourself why you do certain things that may be self-destructive or maybe harming relationships that you have in your life, such as relationships with friends, parents, maybe romantic ones, why you have these destructive traits may be a question that you ask yourself. And I do want you to know that often you will not come to any answer, quite frankly speaking. And that's okay, because every time that you're brave enough to really confront your difficulties or confront your shadow self about what you're maybe not very good at, or where you could improve your amount of kindness or curiosity or just empathy. Whenever you ask yourself what you could do better, you grow. You inevitably come closer and closer to a place of deep understanding, not just for yourself, but also for other people. And honestly speaking, group number 4, most people are too afraid to literally just look at their own like shortcomings or mistakes, whatever we'd like to call it. I mean, they're not really shortcomings or mistakes. They're just things that maybe would benefit you if you were to change them. So for example, negative self-talk, or feeling like you're not sure if somebody really likes you, even though they've said it. You're kind of like, oh, are you sure though? Because I'm not sure. The sense of always being skeptical as to why people would be interested in you. So that's just an example. So yeah, obviously it would serve you a lot more, group number 4, if you were to get over the fact that maybe people just like you because you're a likable person and because you vibe with them and because there's something about you that they appreciate. Next up, we have the World in reverse. Now, group number 4, in the World reversed, I want you to know that this is still one of the most favorable cards of the tarot. This is a card that speaks of fulfillment, happiness, you coming to a place of feeling content and feeling as though you have everything that you need. I can see here in the Two of Crystals that there might be some delays, okay, because we have the Two of Crystals reversed as well as the World reversed. There might be some delays in getting to that point because of being indecisive. Now, we already spoke about this in the White Eagle, that you can really just benefit the most from following your intuition and following that inner guidance and gut feeling feeling, but because you're often afraid to do that, or you're not quite sure why you should trust it, this further delays you moving forward. This further delays some of the abundance that's just around the corner for you, like we spoke about in the world. So do know here in the Two of Crystals that being indecisive is not going to make decision making go away. Group number 4, you're just stalling and procrastinating. Not trying to call you out, but like trying to call you out a little bit, but in a nice way. Next up, we have clear your energy field. Group number 4, don't be afraid to use some sage, to use some incense, to use some sort of way of clearing your energy field. You can also use crystals. That's a great way to do it, and to reset the energy around you, because right now the vibes that we're getting in your reading is that the energy around you is stale, needs to be kind of changed, if you will. Next up, we have abundance planning. So in abundance planning, make a plan for yourself and where you want to be when it comes to material as well as spiritual abundance, because abundance is different for each and every one of us. For one person, abundance is a big bank account. For another person who maybe already has a big bank account, abundance is spiritual freedom, is emotional freedom from toxic relationships. So here I can see in abundance planning that being independent is what you really need to do. Group number 4 is what you need to focus on and become, because in any of your relationships, you still need to have your own goals and your own dreams, and make sure that you're checking in with those. Make sure that you're not just morphing into this like unit, into this, how should I say, into this thing with a partner or another person, that you forget about what's important to you, not what's important to you and them, not what's important to us. What is essential to you, group number 4, is what really matters. I can see here that energy work is so important. God, group number 4, not trying to like tell you to cleanse or to do something differently, but I mean, I am kind of, because we had clear your energy field, and now we have the number 22, which is energy work, and also a master number that is urging you to take better care of your energy, and also to know that if some of your energy centers are blocked, this is not just like spiritual woo-woo, you can actually feel it. Like, for example, if you're having issues like expressing yourself, speaking up for yourself, telling the truth, then you may have a sore throat, or you may just feel it in your throat region because your throat chakra is clogged. If you feel as though your sacral chakra feels weird, then that could be because you are dealing with mother healing, or you've been avoiding mother healing. So that pain that's in your womb kind of like grows and kind of like shows itself also in sporadic kind of intervals. So maybe during that time of the month, like it's a lot more painful, so on and so forth. That's just an example for women, but of course for men, you can have a weird feeling in your sacral area as well, if father healing is something that you feel you've never quite gotten around to, or you've always kind of avoided. Okay, so it's very important to listen to your body and to know that these energy centers in your body exist, and that if you feel something is off, that may be because it's blocked and you have to do energy work. You have to clear your energy fields. The same goes for your third eye chakra. Okay, so if you feel like you've had a lot of headaches recently that are inexplicable, if you never get a headache, but recently you've been feeling a little bit weird or foggy, that is another indication that your intuition is just not quite able to speak or communicate with you, because maybe you're blocking it out or you're just questioning it too much. Next, we have the ear. So group number 4, the ear stands for good news for your relationship. So that's awesome. I do see here in the lion that the good news comes with you acting, comes with you being able to move forward. So maybe you're waiting for somebody to confess to you that they care about you, that they're proud of you, or that they do feel romantic love towards you. So I do want you to know here that the good news is in fact coming, and you will be able to act on that as soon as you have it. Next up, we have the knot. So in the knot, I can see that in the meantime, you may be dealing with some plans that don't quite go the way you would like them to in your relationships, but it's so important how you react to that rather than the fact that maybe not everything worked. You know, maybe you got some tickets for a concert and now you're not able to go because group gatherings aren't allowed in your area. Whatever the plans may have been, just because they're not turning out the way that you originally wanted them to turn out doesn't mean that it has to be something negative. You can just kind of use that time or use that plan and slightly change it and still make it fun, like do a at-home movie night, a theater night, and make that a really fun, cozy experience. Next up, we have the fly. So I do see here within the fly that you're supposed to watch out for, you know, your health kind of being in a difficult place in conjunction to your chakras being clogged. So the fly kind of foreshadows, group number 4, I'm just going to be honest with you, foreshadows that your health is going to decline if you don't take care of the areas now that feel a little funny. So it may not be painful yet, but the longer you let it kind of like fester and the longer you allow it to just not feel quite right, the more the likelihood increases of this actually developing into something that is more serious. So make sure that you take a good look at what's going on with you. Next up, we have the dark woman. So group number 4, in the dark woman, I definitely see that dealings or a relationship with a woman with like dark hair or a more dark complexion is one thing that's coming next within your relationships. This is going to be somebody of some sort of significance. I mean, not gonna lie, that could also be me, who has some sort of impact on your life. So someone who you're spending time with and somebody who is going to make a change to your relationships and is going to give you pieces of information and advice that you will find useful and that you will be able to act on. So group number 4, this is the reading that I received for you. I really hope that you enjoyed it and that you found it insightful. Leave a little lion emoji down below in the comment section, as we did have the lion show up within your reading, group number 4. Furthermore, if you're interested in the crystal jewelry that I'm wearing, that link is down below as well. It's all from my crystal brand, Bow Life. So if you're interested in crystals or anything tarot related, make sure that you check that out. So group number 4, thank you so much for spending this divine time with me. Know that I appreciate you. I'm sending you so much love, and I'll catch you in another one of my videos.